The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, Jesus told this parable to some who trusted in themselves that they were righteous and treated others with contempt. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee, standing by himself, prayed thus: God, I thank you that I am not like other men, extortioners, the unjust, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I give tithes of all that I get. But the tax collector, standing far off, would not even lift up his eyes to heaven. But he beat his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. Jesus said, I tell you, this man went down to the house justified rather than the other. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but the one who humbles himself will be exalted. The Gospel of the Lord. The proud and the haughty he despises, the humble of heart he raises up. Our readings today tell us to stand firm in a particular way, with our hearts in a particular position, to hold fast to our faith, to trust in the Lord. Whatever happens to us, all will be well, because God is with us, so long as we approach him as we should, just as the Pharisee did in the gospel we've just heard. He is our creator. He owes us nothing, and we owe him everything. We must always remember that when we turn to God, when we look at ourselves and our faith. He is our creator. He owes us nothing, and we owe him everything. It's so important that we always remember that it's only what God thinks of us that matters, not friends, not families, not those in power over us. So long as we follow the Lord with a sincere and humble heart, all will be well. About 10 years ago, I was called into the maternity ward of the RVI, and I was covering both the RVI and the Freeman Hospital at the time, and I got called in. And normally there's Catholic nurses on, and they always come when they see the priest come in, and they'll give you the background of who we know, which is obviously ladies, whichever lady I'm going to see, and whatever tragedy normally that's befallen them. Sometimes they want a last rites, sometimes they want a child baptized urgently. I don't know, but when I arrived this time, there were no Catholic nurses, and the nurse I approached was really busy, and she ran past us. She said, it's in room 34, or some room anyway. So I approached this room, I knocked on the door. This is in the maternity ward, and I heard a little voice say, come in. So I opened the door, and there was this young girl. That's what I thought at the time, and it certainly was. No older than 21, sitting in this bed, holding this little baby, with a young man standing next to the bed. So this all happened quite quickly. I knocked on the door, said, come in. See, and I walked over to the bed, just holding this beautiful little baby, and I said, isn't she gorgeous? And just as I put my hand down to touch the little baby's face, I heard at the same time this young man sobbing, and I realized he was crying. And then just as my finger touched the little baby's cheek, it was stone cold, absolutely stone cold. And the baby was obviously dead, and that's why she'd called me, but she was holding tightly and looking like a loving mother's look to a little child who was dead. And this young man standing by her bed, crying. They'd been married when she got pregnant, so they got married. And anyway, then she was sobbing, and she was desperate, wanted the priest to come and give the baby a blessing. So I gave the baby a blessing, and in the words I said, the words of this religious poem that says, this dead child won't hear the birds sing or play with friends, but it'll hear the angels singing before God. And that's true, as long as we stand firm. That's the disposition that we should have. Now, there's many people who are even religious will find God anger. They'll feel betrayed by God. Furious. Why did you allow this to happen? What was the point? We wanted to serve you and you did this to us. Our ways aren't God. This is what today's readings are about. Our humble disposition before God. We have to accept his will, not our own. We try to work with God's grace for what we think is best. But ultimately, he is our creator. And we have to have that humbleness of heart before him. We have to understand that we are servants. We're not asked for this and asked for that. We are his servants, and he wants us first and foremost to understand that he doesn't need to give us this love. He doesn't need to care for us. We are his servants, and his will always be done. It's our job to accept it freely and lovingly.